Let us not forget everything that happens. It's by the will of Allah. Holy will. It's time to unite and stand, and we will be the best amongst men. It's not time to be extreme or do the unthinkable, but to stand together as one. Tune into Sunnah followers, streaming every day, various platforms. Trust me, you'll find a way. Sunnah followers. Assalamu alaikum, new class alert. Join us every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. Central for the Articles of Belief by Muhammad S. Adli, right here on Sunnah Followers.
Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulallah. Welcome everybody to our next class here at Sunnah Followers, which is our class on the Articles of Belief. This is our class on the Articles of Belief, and this is based on the book written by Muhammad Saeed Adli. Okay, and for those of you who have not yet purchased this book, you want to go to adlionline.com and pick up a copy of this book entitled The Articles of Belief. And we've been speaking about one of the articles of belief, which is belief in the day of judgment. And when we talk about how as Muslims we believe in the day of judgment, what are the things that we believe concerning this day? Who can answer that? When we say that we believe in the day of judgment, what are some of the things that we believe concerning this day? Anyone?
The weighing of the deeds and the settling of the scores.
I believe in the weighing of the deeds that will occur on that day. That means all the deeds we've done in this world, good and bad, will be brought forward. Okay, and also the settling of the scores. What does it mean when we say that there will be settling of the scores? Can anybody remember what that entails? What is the settling of the scores? What does it entail? Can anybody remember?
It means whenever you did something to someone, you will answer for it. So like basically if you did something to someone, backbiting them or slandering them or something, they're gonna get your deeds.
Exactly. The settling of the scores, whoever you harm, that you didn't make it right. And I'm going to talk about that. Let we talk about the people you slandered. A lot of Muslims don't understand part of repentance from slandering and backbiting is this. And I don't hear other daya talk about it because they probably don't know, because they don't know the hadiths. Okay, again, you have to go to all the people that you spoke bad about that person to and tell them. A lot of people think, oh, all I got to do is apologize to you. No. Apologizing to me is not setting it right. The way to apologize to me is by going to the people that you spoke badly about me to. And you have to set the score right with them. You have to let them know that what you did was wrong, that you should not have done that you were a bad person for doing that. And if it entails slander, oh, you destroyed my reputation. So you don't come to me and tell me you sorry. No, that ain't going to make my reputation better. You have to go to all the people that you slandered me to and tell them that you were a liar, because a slanderer is a liar. Okay, you have to admit to all the people that you slandered me to, that you said some horrific things about me that were not true. That's the only way you can make it right. to get me back my reputation. Because remember, as a Muslim, my honor, my life, and my property are sacred. So a lot of these Muslims today, they think all you got to do is come to me. No, in fact, you ain't got to come to me at all. Because if you come to me, it's going to make me hate you. If you come to me and tell me that you slandered me, I'm going to hate you. I'm going to hate you for the sake of Allah, because you destroyed my reputation and you can't bring that back. As the prophet said, to destroy a person's reputation is the same as if you took a knife and sliced their head off. So don't come to me and tell me nothing. Go to the people that you lied about me to. So that's the selling of the scores. For those of you who have not done it in this world, for those of us who did not go and make right the wrongs that we did in this world against the people, you're going to have to, on the day of judgment, stand and give all your good deeds to me and take my bad deeds. Which would you prefer? Which of the favors of your Lord would you prefer? Would you prefer to take on all my bad deeds and lose yours, your good ones? Or would it be easier for you to go and tell the people that you're a liar? Admit to the people that you're a liar, that you lied on another Muslim. You guys see that? It's your choice. Save your face in this world, and your face will be blackened on the day of judgment. Y'all understand that? When we talk about how on the day of judgment, some people's faces will be blackened. Allah says in the Quran, on the day of judgment, some people's faces will be blackened. This is what he's talking about. The people that didn't make it right. You did settle the score in this world with those Muslims you oppressed with your tongue. Well, Allah is going to blacken your face on the day of judgment. So when we say we believe, in a day of judgment, we believe everything that Allah has told us about it. And we also spoke the last time we met in this class about how belief in the day of judgment also includes believing in what's going to happen in that grave. What's going to happen in the grave. And what did we speak about last week in regards to the grave? What is going to happen in the grave? Who can talk about that with us? What's happening in the grave? Anyone? Anyone?
You're gonna
go ahead.
Once you're lowered into your grave, you're going to be visited by two angels, and they're going to question you about three things. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? And who is your prophet? And the true believer will answer those immediately, but then the hypocrites and the non-believers, they'll be confused, or they'll say, I don't know, even though, say they're a Muslim by name in this world, even though they know the answer, it's not going to come out of their mouth. If you're a true believer, then you'll be put in your soul will be put in a form of a green bird flying around the throne of Allah. And if you're a hypocrite, you'll be smashed in the head with a bar, and it's going to be heard by everything other than us and the jinns, and your soul is going to be put in hell.
MashaAllah. Excellent. Good job, Aya. That's Aya. Wasn't it, Aya, guys? Good job. You summarized that beautifully. Exactly. That's going to happen. And a lot of people ask the question. A lot of Muslims say, well, Sister Laila, since we already know what the questions are that Allah is going to answer, we just memorize them and we'll be able to answer them. It won't work that way. If you were a hypocrite, if you were not practicing your religion as you should, Allah will make your throat constrict, whereas you won't be able to get the answer out. The only people that will be able to get it out are the true people who practiced it, who believed it and put it in action. Everybody understand that? So thinking that, I know what the questions of the graves are, so I'll be able to say it, that's not going to happen. And that's something scary for all of us to ponder. You in that grave trying to get that answer out and it won't come past your. That's when you know. And by the way, will you know before we even reach the grave, will a person know if they're going to paradise or hell before then? Before you?
Yes.
Okay, how?
Because the ugly man will come to you for your bad deeds, and then the good ones will come to you, showing you your place, so you will know before you actually before we get in the grave, right?
Before you enter the grave.
Oh yeah, well we'll know what the soul is written in the book, book Aline, or I forgot the names of it, but it will be written down where you're gonna go.
Exactly, guys. You're gonna know as soon as the angel of death pull your soul. And this is a question that a lot of Muslims don't understand. When you're dying, when a person dies, they know then if they're going to paradise or hell. The angels will tell you when they come to take your soul out of you, and it's not going to be one angel. There are several angels that will be there. When they pull your soul from your throat, they will tell you whether you're going to hell or paradise. And when they carry your soul up to paradise, what happens if you're a person that's going to be in the hellfire? When they take your soul up to write it down in the book, what happens to it after they write it down into hell, guys?
Your soul gonna be thrown back into your body hard, just thrown down. And if it's going to paradise, then it'll be e-body.
Exactly. If you're going to hell, they're not going to bring. If you're going to hell, after your name is written in that book, they're just going to throw you, and your soul will be thrown down into your body. But if you're a person of paradise, they'll bring it. The angels will gather your soul in that beautiful sack and bring it back down to earth and put it back in your body. Y'all understand? So the person will know. That's why the prophet said we should fear death, because you're going to know. And that's why if you watch people die, they so scared. You watch when their soul is being pulled, they see it. Their eyes are big because they've received the news. They've received the news. When the angels come to take your soul, if you are good Muslim, they'll say, "Come out, good soul," and they'll calm you down. The angels of your shoulders will appear. Your jinn's gonna appear too. If you are good, dying in good standing with Allah, the angels of your shoulders will calm you down, and they will say, "Come out to the pleasure of your Lord." That's why some people die with a smile on their face, because as their soul is being, the angels of their shoulders are telling them, "Come out. You're going to have a good ending to the pleasure of your soul." But if that person died in bad standing with Allah, you smoking that weed, smoking that cigarette, fornicating, you ain't been praying, you ain't been wearing hijab, whatever your problem is, they will yank your soul out. They'll say, "Come out, you evil soul. Come out to the punishment of your Lord." So that's why you see a lot of people die scared. No, they fight it. No, they're terrified because they're being told they're being yanked out, saying, "Come out to the anger and punishment of your Lord." So yes, we will know immediately. When the angel of death visits you to take that soul, you're going to know. That's why the prophet said, "Fear the destroyer of pleasure," meaning fear death. And the last time we met, we talked about what happens to the Muslim. For the Muslims, when our souls are taken, and then when we are in the grave, we went over how the angels will appear and ask us those questions. The answers will come out easy for us. And then a handsome man will appear and say he represents our good deeds. And then will we see our places in paradise and hell when we're in the grave, guys?
Yes.
Yes. And each and every one of us have two houses. We have a house in hell and we have a house in paradise. For those of us who die in good standing with Allah, We'll be shown our house in hell, and we'll be told this would have been your home. But since you died in good standing with Allah, look at your home now. And that's when we'll see our home in paradise. And then our soul will be placed in the green bird. Okay. And our body will be told to sleep. We talked about that the other day, the last time we met for this class. Today, discuss what happens to the hypocrite. What's the hypocrite? Who can explain what a hypocrite is? What is a hypocrite? When I use the term hypocrite, who am I speaking about? Can anybody tell me what a hypocrite is? Who the hypocrite is? How does Islam define it?
A hypocrite is.
What?
Oh, go ahead, Mina. Well, let me try, Mina, and then you can help me if I'm wrong. A hypocrite is one who, what he says is not the truth. What he says is not the truth. He lies. He can't be trusted.
Okay, the hypocrite, that's Webster's dictionary. I want you to tell me, how does Islam define what is a hypocrite according to our religion? How does Islam define a hypocrite?
Okay.
Okay. It's whatever. Okay. I'm sorry. And the hypocrite in Islam is basically a person that comes around the Muslims acting like they believe in what we believe in, and then go around when they're not around us, say like, I don't believe in that, or whatever the case may be. But when they're around us, they're acting like they're Muslims. They're hypocrites.
Okay, so who can give me a better definition, a more downright simple definition? How does Islam define a hypocrite? Sister Trey has the answer right. And I want y'all to write it down. A hypocrite is a person that claims to be a Muslim, but in reality, he's not. Just that simple. Good job, Sister Trey. A hypocrite is a person that says that they are a Muslim, but in reality, they're not. That's what makes them worse than a kafir. A Muslim, I'm telling you that I believe in Allah. I look like you. I dress like you. I pray next to you at the mosque. We fast together during Ramadan. I'm sitting in your website claiming that I'm learning a religion. But in reality, I don't believe in any of it. That's a hypocrite in Islam. Okay? Y'all understand that? They are people who claim to be Muslim, but in reality, they are not. So what's the difference between a hypocrite and a kafir? The correct answer is a hypocrite is a kafir who pretends to be a Muslim. That's it. Y'all understand? So I want y'all to remember how to explain it the way I did, in plain, simple, grassroots English. Because a lot of Muslims are deluded. They think we can, and just because a person's a Muslim, we make them our friend and trust them. Nope. 99% of the Muslims that come around you are hypocrites. That's the truth. You'd be surprised. There's more hypocrites amongst us than anything else. The Prophet Muhammad, his biggest enemy was not the Jews. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's biggest and worst enemies were those Muslims who really didn't believe in Allah. He had more problems from the hypocrites. They caused more fitna, and there was nothing he could do, because the simple fact that they say, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, what does that mean? That means we cannot kill them. We cannot slander them, and their property is sacred. So hypocrites are people who claim to be Muslim, but they really don't or are not. But even though they claim it, nothing we can do. The fact that they claim to be Muslim means they are protected by us. So they live with us. They pray with us. They eat with us. We can't get rid of them. They're all over the place. And they're creating chaos after chaos after chaos. Okay, y'all got the difference now? All right. So today we're going to speak of what's going to happen to those people. We're going to speak about the punishment that Allah got in store for those people, the hypocrites. So let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Yeah. Yeah, let's break it down in plain, simple, grassroots English, because I'm telling you, they the worst. We can never get rid of them. They're all around us, keeping problems and chaos going. Yep. Okay. So let me put this on and let me switch to the PowerPoint, which is up here, right? The punishment. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to speak about what happens in the grave of these people. What's going to happen to them in that grave? All that fitna that they for us, all the problems that they give us. What type of punishments does Allah have in store for them? Okay, let me share this with you guys now so you can, so you can see. Where is it at? Punishment of the grave. There it is. Okay, inshallah, this should pop up on the screen. Okay. Okay, here we go. So this is, we're covering today pages 66 through 68 in my book. I have the ebook. So it's 66 to 68 in the ebook. It's probably 68 to 71 in the regular book. Okay, and we're going to speak about the punishment of the grave in regards to those who claim to believe in Allah, but in reality, they don't. Okay. And by the way, it's full screen. Okay, now I can show it. All right, let's look at this. Allah tells us in the Quran, in the interpretation, the meaning, as the person in the grave will see and feel everything. Okay? And this was a question that one of the new sisters, I think it was Sandra, asked the last week. When we're in the grave, will we be able to see and feel what's going on with our soul? If I'm in hell, will I feel the pain? Will I be able to see what's happening to me? If my soul is in a paradise and a green bird, will I feel it in my body? Will I feel the bliss and happiness? Yes. The answer is yes. And as far as how will we see it and feel it, we shouldn't ask that. We simply have to accept what Allah says, because as Allah says, all of them believe in Allah, his angels, his books, his messengers, and everything he said about the hereafter. So don't ask, how is it that even though we're dead and our body is in the grave, while our soul is in hell or paradise, how is it that that dead body that's deteriorating, that's going back to dirt, will still feel it? And that answers that question too. Another person asked the other day, Sister Laila, when we die and our body goes back to dirt, will we still be able to feel everything? The answer is yes. Again, listen to what Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning. This is the book about which there is no doubt, no question. It's a guidance for those who are conscious and believe in Allah. So we have to accept that. Even though your body may turn back to dirt, even though your body will just, the bone will disappear, leaving just the tailbone, you'll still be able to feel every bit of what Allah is giving you. And again, Allah tells us that in order to be righteous, in order to be conscious of Allah, you have to believe in the unseen. And the unseen is paradise, hell, the angels, the jinns, the things that we cannot see in this world. We have to believe that even though we cannot see them, they exist. So for the new shahadas, never ask how. How is it that Allah does or says what he says? Instead, we accept it. We submit to what he says and we accept. That's the righteous people. So the unseen world is true, and the unseen world is real. The unseen world consists of paradise, hell, the grave, what happens in the grave, the angels, the jinn, and all of that. We will not be able to see it as long as we're living on this earth, but we will be able to see it when we die. It's only a matter of death that will cause you to be able to see. If you wake up and you see angels flying around and you see jinn and stuff, that means you dead. If you wake up and see the fire, the hellfire is in your face, you're dead. Because death takes us into the other world, which is known as the afterlife. And you'll be able to see the angels. You'll be able to see everything except Allah. Allah will not manifest himself except to the believers. And that will only be when we enter into paradise in body and soul. Does everybody understand that? This is another question that one of the new shahadas asked. Will we be able to see Allah too? No. Allah is not going to reveal himself to any of us until we cross that bridge into paradise. Okay? If Allah wanted to make himself visible, he could. But he chooses to leave it this way. Why? Because Allah wants us to work at paradise, work at believing in him. If we could see Allah, then we would believe in him. And what would be the point of free will? What is the one thing that makes us of a higher status than the angels and the birds, the bees, the creatures, the trees? It's that free will that Allah gave us. Okay, so the unseen world, it exists. We will not see anything of it until death. And like we talked about the other day, the angels are terrifying. Like the prophet said in that authentic hadith, if we were to look up, and if we were like him and could see what Allah allowed him to see, we would look up and see nothing but the whole sky covered with angels prostrating and glorifying Allah out of fear. That's a scary thing. Allah shows mercy to us by not allowing us to see such a scary sight. And the angel of death is the most scariest angel of all to see. So Allah placed a veil between us and the unseen world as a mercy. But even though we can't see these things, we have to know that they do indeed exist. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. A caller call out from heaven and say, my servant has spoken the truth. So spread a bed for him from paradise, clothe him in clothing from paradise, and open up a door for him into paradise. So some of its air and perfume will come to him. and a space will be made for him as far as the eye can see. This is for those of us who die in good standing with Allah. Our grave after the questioning will be made spacious. We'll lie there, our bodies in peace, sniffing, able to smell the scent of paradise. And Allah will dress us in clothing from the unseen world. That means no human being in this world will be able to see the clothing that Allah will dress us in when we're in our graves. And your body will be told to sleep, and your soul will then take that form of a green bird. So again, we have to believe all of that. And belief in the day of judgment, by believing everything Allah says, it brings many benefits. Number one, if we believe these wonderful things that Allah tells us and the scary things, it will awaken the fitra of our heart. This is one of the best ways to awaken the light of your heart, by thinking about the day of judgment. And if it once that light is awakened, it will give you a desire to want to obey Allah, to want to change your life, to want to be a better person, so you can have a good ending and gain reward with Allah. Allah tells us about paradise. He tells us about hell and all the particulars. Why? To motivate us, to encourage us to do the best we can in this world. That when life throws us, when he throws us a curveball, that we look at that curveball for what it really is, which is a test of our faith. So that's the first benefit of believing in the day of judgment. It'll keep your fitra awakened. It will encourage you and cause you to obey Allah. Also, another benefit is that it arouses the fear of Allah's punishment. If you're a person that could care less about paradise or hell, learn about it. And then it'll arouse that fear. It'll make you think twice before you pick up a cigarette. It'll cause you to think twice before you disobey Allah or do something that Allah doesn't want us to do. So that's the second benefit of believing in the day of judgment. And the third benefit is that it will comfort you over matters in this world. It will ease the burden that you may feel about things that you may have been lost in this world, such as a beloved one, money, or even the war in Gaza. A lot of you are going crazy about what's happening, what Allah has caused to happen. And it's not just Gaza. By the way, it's been happening in Africa for decades. Okay, and still is. It'll cause you to accept the qadr of Allah and know that Allah has a plan. His plan is bigger than anything that we can plan. And there's always a cause to a means and a means to an end. And also, thinking about the day of judgment will cause you to reflect on yourself, your own shortcomings. It'll remind you of what your purpose in life is. And it'll be, again, the encouragement to handle whatever trials you face with dignity, humility, and balance. So, belief in the day of judgment, guys, belief in what happens in that grave, Allah went into detail telling us about these things. And the reason that he went into detail is because he wants the best for us. Allah is the one that created us to worship him. That is our purpose. That is what this is all about. And he says over and over in the Quran, do you think that I won't test you? Do you think that you were just created to enjoy life and not be tested? Do you think that just because you say you believe in me, that I'm not going to test you with that? And then out of his mercy, guys, he even tells us how to handle the tests, how to pass our trials. He tells us that when we are faced with hardships in life, like war, like poverty, like hunger, he said the thing that will help us to get through it is La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Reflect upon yourself. Reflect upon your belief system. Reflect upon the things that he shared with us about what's going to happen in that grave. Change yourself. Change yourself to that which is pleasing to him. Get your priorities in order. You were created to worship him. So everything we do should be for him, for his sake, not the sake of anyone or anything else. All right, I'm going to stop right here.